Hello, everybody. Welcome to the MD Cast. I'm Kyle, and these other goobers are here too.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Eric.
That's the boys. You should know it by now. And you should also know by now that we sometimes have dreams around here. I had one, and it was fucking weird. So, it was... I remember we were this... we were all teens. And by we, I don't mean you guys. You weren't there. That's a good thing.
It's not a good thing. I like being in your guys' dream.
Nah, it would be a completely different dream if you were in it. It's probably like fart on all the bad things. But I was a teen and I was with a bunch of other teens and it was like some kind of field trip thing. And we were going to this island because we were going to meet the new leader. I don't know what he was the leader of. But everyone was excited. He could have been the fucking leader of McDonald's for all we know. Whatever he was, we were happy to be there. And
you were on a bus trip to meet Kim Jong-un?
Yeah, exactly. It might be more accurate than you think.
Oh no.
we go to this place, and it's like this funny... It's like this funny little campsite. We got like a little bunk room we can all sleep in or whatever, and we do activities. And we do basic activities around the island, and then it gets to nighttime, and we have to play hide and seek. And we start trying to hide all around the island. I go to a cathedral. I'm like, big cathedral. I can hide in this. I'm with like some friends I made while at this place. And then people start screaming. And people are running around.
Can I step in for a second?
Sure.
You know what this sounds like?
What?
This sounds like the plot of a really bad Korean horror movie.
Yes. Because it's very similar to Battle Royale.
Oh, neat.
People start screaming, and these other teens start running in, and I'm trying to, like, put up a ladder to get to the higher levels of the cathedral. No one will find me up there. And people are running in, and they're trying to steal my ladder from me. And I have to fight them off, because they're crazy. And I get this ladder up, and I start climbing it. I look down at, like, my friends who are, going to start climbing up behind me, ripped apart by gunfire.
Oh.
And soldiers, like, fucking clone troopers, start piling in, and they start killing everyone. I'm like, oh my god. I climb up, they're shooting at me, I have to fight my way to the rooftop. I make it to the rooftop, and it's like nighttime, it's dark, there's just gunfire in the nights, and I find a way to get down the side of the building, and I start creeping through the bushes trying to escape, and I can see that, like, soon enough, there's, like, searchlights out for me, because I'm the last one alive. I'm the only survivor. And I'm crawling through bushes. I'm like, I gotta find a place to rest. So I find some bushes, and I'm trying to, like, make sure I'm, like, as low profile as possible so they don't find me. Then I hear behind me the sounds of people. I turn around, and the second I turn around, it's daytime again. It's morning. And I see all of the teens that I had made friends with. They're all super excited, and one who I had made friends and seen got ripped apart by gunfire, she looks at me and she's like, "Aren't you excited? We get to meet the new leader."
Oh, you just fucking day after tomorrow?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fucking Groundhog Day.
I got fucking time looped.
Why were you fucking still, like, where did you, like, wake up where you were?
No,
in the bush?
I was, like, figuring out how to make myself low profile when I hear them behind me, and, like, I turn around and it's, like, scene cut, it's now morning, and I'm still, like, lying in the dirt.
Did you just have, like, that fucking panicked expression, 1,000 yards, like, are you still alive?
I'm just sitting there looking at these kids. They're so excited as they start walking towards the campsite. And I'm like, don't go there. Don't go that way.
Oh, so you're, like, vicariously watching it from afar? You're not, like, with them?
No, I am there, and they're like, come on, come with me. I'm sitting there, like...
so, like, you're still in the bushes, and then they walk up to you.
Yeah, they were standing right behind me.
So it's possibly not even a time loop. It's just, this was something that was... Maybe you're just hallucinating.
I was pretty confident that it was a time loop because I looked and like the way out was closed, so I'm like, I have the knowledge. I can save these people.
It's like some fucking Final Destination.
So that
shit.
did you wake up after that
Yeah,
part?
I woke up
Oh,
after
damn, that could have been such a really cool dream instead of just a scary one.
It could have been neat.
You can like
Maybe you'll get part 2 tonight.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Can we get 2 likes on the video so that Kyle's dream can come true? Guys, quickly log on and like this twice.
Subscribe to me on twitter.com.
I was just thinking it'd be funny, like when the stormtroopers enter the church and like they're shooting at everyone. They take off their helmet. It was just Eric.
It's a lot of innocent teenagers killed by Eric.
So I just thought it'd be funny, like
What can I say? I've done everything.
in the newest trilogy of Star Wars, like the big reveal when he took off his helmet. Imagine in that scene it was just Eric.
The bloody teen handprint on his fucking helmet.
Ugh, I let one get close to me.
But yeah, it was pretty wild.
That is a really interesting dream.
So you said that you had an idea, Tyler. What idea do you have for this current episode?
You've mentioned you did a campaign, right?
No, actually, I don't think I did mention that I did a campaign, but I did do a campaign.
Well, the campaign ended recently.
D&D campaign.
Yeah.
No, I was in redacted country.
Yeah, we were all there. It was a hellish endeavor, but I'm under contract not to speak about it.
Mm-hmm.
But we all had our own little endings, our own little happy endings. My thought when we were outside earlier was, what job or what do you think they'd be doing if our characters were ever reincarnated, like say in the future, but like you can say like our current time. Like I know it's D&D.
Like
and
what would they do if they were just in a modern?
If your character from fantasy got a Sekid to now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
to be fair, my character Rana could be doing the exact same thing. She was a gravekeeper.
I just would find it funny, like Rana is just watching over us still, like as we're reincarnated
Just
in this
the
modern
whole time. She's the one who did it. She's like, you've been sleeping for too long. Get some exercise.
Here's a second chance.
For context, my character became the god of death. So
The destroyer of worlds.
No, I just thought like obviously like Lucy, the good king, is now like obviously like human or something. Like what would he be doing?
He'd be a CEO of a big company and hate it.
Probably.
Yeah. For context, my the good King Lucy was essentially Lucifer. The campaign is okay. Hell opens up and dead things start coming out of it. And then your characters go into that realm, and you find out, oh, there's demons here, but they're also, like, on our side. The good King Lucifer, he was a good guy, but he was a drunk general that was very fed up, but also very tired.
He was a good man.
I like Lucy.
He was also my self-insert, so...
Oh, yeah, we could tell.
But yeah. Aside from that, I could also see Rana, just kind of presuming a mortal life for the sake of argument or discussion. I can also see her being like an insurance agent.
Yeah.
Like life insurance.
That would be really funny.
I think it would be amusing.
Rosetta would attempt to be a band member. Wolfmother would be a mother.
I'd say like Wolfmother and Myron would have ran a daycare.
Maybe. Yeah. I think that would be a very wholesome idea.
Yeah.
Wolfmother was a dog, a wolfkin lady that her whole backstory was she really liked taking care of kids, but she was not able to have one herself. Myron was a warforged that was a man who was a elf that got killed, and then he was brought back into a suit of armor that his father built as a warforged, and he didn't know why he was brought back, but
He was there.
He was brought back to be a lad, straight up.
Mm-hmm.
I love Myron.
Well, thank you.
What would Kotetsu, the local hate-filled warmonger, do?
Warmonger?
You tried to pick a fight with so many people, and most of them were our friends.
Define friend.
Um,
Okay, Rand, that's different. That's he sees someone strong, he's wondering who would win a fight.
you fucking... I guess a number of the people weren't friends, but they were our allies.
Q-Quake fucking deserved it. Fuck Q-Quake.
Q-Quake was a very big lizard folk that, he was just a lizard folk, and Kotetsu was reacting to him, just kind of throttling people.
Yeah.
I don't really know. Cause I was thinking, I was like, oh, maybe like a cop or something, but then I was like, nah.
No, you'd be such a bad cop.
I feel like you might run like a school of sorts, like a martial arts school.
You'd be a karate teacher.
Maybe.
I thought that'd be a little cool idea.
Or a bouncer.
That too.
Rand would be probably a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, like a commander of some kind.
And Tabs would be a drill sergeant.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's where it kind of just branches over into being pretty much just real world concepts anyway.
Mm-hmm. Because all Rand knew how to do was kill, and all Tabs knew how to do was
shout.
Yeah, kinda.
I mean, he sure
Command.
didn't know how to fight.
There's one chance to finally scrap down, and he just couldn't hit shit.
Just rolled unfortunately low for his statistics.
That's the other thing too, where I'm like, okay, I already have so many characters in here that are just leagues better than like the actual players, because I want there to be cool people in this universe, and I'm like, but if I'm gonna have them travel with you guys for a little while, I really probably shouldn't have them be like super super good compared to you guys, because then that kind of takes things away from you people for doing things. So I might as well have them be the same level. Rolled like shit for hit die, and rolled
His
like shit
stats
in
were
game.
good.
He had a rough go of it.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a good man.
Yeah, I love Tabs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was just a thing I thought of. Like, what would our characters be like in a modern setting?
I'm not quite sure what the other party members would be doing. Ramrod would be a fireworks technician. I know that.
Yeah.
Ramrod was a little goblin that operated the gun. She played the drums.
Yeah, I revived her from the dead, and she killed herself like 4 years later.
It wasn't on purpose.
It was only a matter of time, though.
Yeah, I'll just say, like, because my character took up the mantle of death, the epilogue was played in a very interesting way, where my character would talk to people after they died, and so NPCs would show up in my ferryman's boat, and I would get to talk to them, and I could figure out, like, what their life was like after the war, how they died, things like that. And then when the party members came by, they could straight up like dictate like, when did I die, how did I die, what did I do in the meantime, because it was just my character catching up with them, because it has been mortal lifetimes.
Yeah.
One of the people was like an elf, so he lived hundreds of years after that. I met the good King Lucy beyond there, who was pretty much didn't have a lifespan. He just went when he felt like it was time to go. It was a very good epilogue. I very much enjoyed it.
I really, really, really did love the ending of it.
I am glad that you guys did, and I'm very glad that you agreed to go with that,
It would have been
Kyle.
very
Because
difficult otherwise.
if you did not agree to that, I'm like, well, I don't have a good ending idea anymore.
What would have happened if he did say no?
It would have ended.
Listen, yeah, it
Just
would have
straight to
been like,
black
okay,
screen?
like straight to black screen. What did you want to do after? Good, that happened. I don't care.
Yeah, but it was a good epilogue. It was a very interesting way of doing it. It was fun to have the characters essentially catch up with each other. It was very amusing because it's essentially like war ends. We're heading back to the portal to decide if we're going to go back to the mortal realm or not. Everyone's making like plans and stuff. People are like asking the king for like rewards for their services, like homes and shit. Everyone's figuring out what they're gonna do, and then just in the middle of the bar, time freezes. Death appears to my character and says, "Well, I need an apprentice. Are you in or are you not?" And I of course take his hand. I take the Reaper's hand, and I'm just instantly gone. So it's like explained that to everyone else, like no one noticed at first, but a day later, it's like, yeah, this person is just gone. So every time someone appeared to me, we'd have a little conversation, and they'd look at me and said, "You could have said goodbye." It's like I couldn't, man.
We did not have the chance or the opportunity.
I left behind a bird. I left my familiar in the mortar.
Bird can't talk.
I left my familiar around as a sign that I once was.
Mm-hmm. As well, I'd like to clarify too. You can call him back. He could have like come back to you at any time you wanted as well. Just
I wanted him to stick around as both a reminder and also just like a symbol, because it's neat to like take up the mantle of a deity, to take up the mantle of death, but I feel part of the fun of it is also having your own impact on it, and I feel like it's an amusing way to say, like, to make like a symbol of this era of death being the bearded vulture, because that's what my familiar was, a bearded vulture.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the idea
which is already kind of like a little bit tied in too.
It's just a little more like on the nose now.
Mm-hmm.
And
on the
like,
snoot.
I had kind of in the city where it happened, the place where a lot of us were kind of planning to stay afterwards. I had asked the king, like, can you fix up the graveyard, add a little church, a church of death, because I was a worshiper of death. Things like that.
Which was not a bad thing either.
Yeah, it's a religion,
Also, Death was Lucy's uncle.
Yeah, Uncle D.
So he had
Uncle
no
D.
problems doing it.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And then my character disappears afterwards. So I thought it would be neat. It's like this bearded vulture that never really ages naturally, because it's not even a beast. It is a celestial, and it just hangs around the graveyard watching over all of the events.
That is a really cool concept. I didn't think of that. I figured, once you disappeared, the bird disappeared.
No, I that's why I specifically asked Death, like, can I leave him behind here as, an indicator that I once was.
Yeah.
So the whole idea is that the bird hangs around. And I like to imagine in the following day when people are looking for her, like, where's Rana? They essentially, like, they find the bird is just kind of hanging around, and
I see your bird flying, I shoot it down.
You probably would.
That thing always creeped me out.
I don't like it when it landed on me.
But yeah, it was good fun. It was fun to see how everything worked out. It's amusing to see all the fellas one last time, and it's amusing when two people die at the exact same time and you find it's because one blew up the other.
Man, I'm kind of glad Ramrod went out like that.
She really couldn't go out any other way.
Like, she was trying to make fucking fire shells in the middle of a camp with all of us in it, so I'm not surprised she went out that way.
Right beside a furnace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm there like, hey, fucking stop that. But, I had very low fucking persuasion, so, I didn't get to do shit.
I don't think you'd be able to persuade her anyway.
No, probably not.
But that did have me thinking as well, because I'm moving on to my my next campaign slowly, and for that, most of what I've gotten done is I'm almost done drawing one of the NPC characters, but other than that, made a couple maps, but what I've gotten the most done on is theme songs.
Eric loves his boss music and theme songs.
I'm not even just doing boss music this time. Boss music, theme songs, and place themes, because the other campaign that I'm in, every time we're in a place that we usually are, because in that one we have a place that we reside in. It is our home. Anytime we do something, we go back there.
Yeah.
And that place, the DM has a theme where it's like, it kind of sounds like elevator music with rain playing behind it, but like after a while, at first it's like, really, this is just going to be the theme forever, but then it gets ingrained in you where like you're out fighting things and then you get there and then that theme song starts playing. I'm like, oh fuck, I know I'm back in Camor, but I want themes for those places, and I think I found one song for a place, but the song for it is kind of funny because like I've been looking around everywhere, like a lot of the stuff is going to be grunge, but
it's just the vibe of it.
But I found one song called Dreadlock Holiday. That song is really funny to me because here's the premise of it. There's a white guy. It's a reggae song that was done by a group of white people, done in like the time that reggae was like very, very popular and new. And it's a white guy walking down the street, and then he sees he says in quote a group of brothers right from the gutter, and then like he starts talking to them, and then they try to rob him and take his chain from him after like he declines spending like accepting $1 for the chain that he got from his mom, and then like they threaten him and say you're alone and we can rob you, and then he says, I don't like reggae, I love it. And it's like okay, imagine the whitest person you can, and then like a bunch of like black people come over, and he's not racist at all, but a group of black people come up to him, and then he says, I don't like reggae, I love it. Oh, I'm gonna talk about a guy that I work with. I won't name him or where I work, but we have new people come on sometimes, and we had a Jamaican guy that was new come in and do a practical with us, and he finds out this team lead. He finds out that he's a Jamaican guy, and he says, "I love jerk chicken." There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong
jerk
with
chicken
it.
Chicken is a wonderful meal, but it's such a strange thing to say off the cuff. Yeah.
Well, because liking jerk chicken is like a Jamaican's personality.
Tyler.
I don't mean anything bad by that. It's just like whatever. Like I've talked to one. I've talked to a Jamaican fellow. They love jerk chicken, and I've always wanted to eat it.
I see. You've never had jerk chicken before?
No. I
make a dangerous jerk chicken. You don't. Are you okay with spicy, or are you not okay with spicy? Because we've had spicy before. I know that you are more open to spicy than Kyle is.
I am more open to spicy.
Because I make a devilish jerk chicken.
Oh, I know. You've talked about it. Fucking, I'm gonna be breathing out fire and shitting it too.
I love spicy food.
I know you do. Scary. No, like you fucking had the crystal skull of hot spice fucking sauce, and it just slowly turned radioactive. Because okay, here's this.
I'm gonna tell you something. Did you ever have it where like your parents say like, "Oh, Tyler,"
worried about you?
No, Tyler, like you're like a little kid, and they say, "Oh, Tyler really likes this." And then for like a really long time, your family will get you something oriented towards that.
Yeah.
Okay, so like after I turned 18, I was like, I really like hot sauce.
So
And
let's
I
get
can't-
like the fanciest.
I
bottle
can't
hot
tell
sauce.
people that I really like Warhammer because I know that's really expensive. I can't tell people that I really like pot, but at the time that's illegal. So I really like hot sauce at the time. People kept buying me hot sauce, and I was getting like my own hot sauces every now and again that I like.
Yeah.
I seemed interested in. Like I'd go to a food vendor and they have like hot sauce that they're selling. I'm like, I guess I'll try it. So I have that stuff going, and those bottles last me years.
Yeah.
But people keep buying me hot sauce.
So you just have like an infinite supply.
So yeah, and like that crystal bottle one, I was like, I know that like I'd probably try it and it might be good, but at the same time, this is an entire like it's almost half a 2 liter, I'd say.
Yeah.
It's not quite a liter actually, but it's like a lot of hot sauce. And
It's a lot of sauce, considering you're only supposed to use so much on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with a typical hot sauce bottle, that skull was big.
yeah, and like a regular hot sauce bottle lasts me a long time, and I have so many other ones kicking around that I haven't gotten a chance to use yet.
I feel like you'd really like, like the spicy noodles you eat. You know how like they actually have like the bottles of the hot sauce.
I've had it before.
I feel
I've got
like
it.
that would be your type of thing.
It's good. Like that in moderation. I would not put as much as they give out in the packets for the noodles, because that really is a challenge food.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
I'll say.
all the
Like
YouTubers
I can do it, I can enjoy it, but I don't like the day after. And I have eased back on hot sauce because like I just can't enjoy the day after anymore.
You fucking get stomach ulcers and suddenly you're pooping blood.
Like I have it where I can have like regular like okay amounts of spicy foods, like ooh, I'll put a little bit of hot sauce in today, like, but sometimes I work 5 days a week, sometimes 6, so I can have stuff on Saturday that I really want to try and go all out on.
And Sunday you may feel the ramifications, but at least you're not doing anything.
Because you get the shits on a Monday and it hurts. That's enough to
Not a good day.
That's enough to just go home for.
I'm not big on spice, and it's crazy because my mom is a spice fiend. Absolute insanity. Fucking like the spicy hot sauces from Osmos.
Yeah.
That even at like medium, this man's like having a hard time with it. My mom took the I think Beyond Hot version, and she's just like, oh yeah, it was pretty good. A little spicy.
Mom's a freak.
Got some kick. Yeah, she is a fucking freak.
She has no taste buds.
And it's like sometimes, on occasion, I'll get something and I'll have the option for like jalapenos. I'm like, yeah, throw on some jalapenos. I like jalapenos.
We'll get a little bit kooky.
Yeah, but that's it. I'm not really a spice person.
I'll say this, like if I ever order a Subway, I get some from Subway, I always get jalapenos. I always get like the banana peppers.
Banana peppers are good.
Yeah.
I could eat those regularly, just handful. They're like my pickles.
Yeah, that's how they're typically served. They're pickled not bell peppers, banana peppers.
Banana pepper.
And I'll get like chipotle and stuff. So like I do have a few spicy things.
Yeah.
But I like a little bit of spice.
I never really lean into it. I always try. I always get the mild first.
I lean into it when it doesn't affect the flavor. Like, I like spicy, but if it's, like, that too hot where it's destroying the food, I do not like that.
Yeah, that's no good. That's the other problem with, like, spicy hot sauces. Like, there's a point where it's like, I'm not tasting food, I'm tasting burn.
Yeah. When it gets to that point, I just want to throw the food away.
Yeah.
There's these fucking Vietnamese subs that my one coworker, because they go to an Asian market, and on Thursdays they have these subs that they sell, and I can't remember. I believe it's ham and beef, and there's carrots, banana peppers, and this sauce that they put in it, and it's the best sub I've ever had. and like it's a good day when like I hear my name down the hallway and they say Eric, and then they underhand toss me a fucking sub. I get a sub at 6 a.m. and I'm like, ugh, fuel.
This day is now energized.
We're working at double time speed.
Oh. Listen, Asian food's amazing.
I like Asian food.
Asian food is good.
I love me some bibimbap.
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 Oh. Everyone know what Letterkenny is, right?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
very, very stereotypical Canadian show.
Yeah, it's a Canadian comedy.
There's a guy, like the main guy, Shorzy, he says bibimbap really weird. I've been trying to replicate it because it's really fucking funny when he
Why
says
does
it.
he say it?
Because he was talking about, like, taking a girl on a date. Like, oh, let's go to this Chinese restaurant, get you some bibimbap.
Bibimbap isn't even
And
Chinese.
Whenever he says it, it just makes me laugh so hard.
I mean, it's a fun word to say. I was honestly very pleased when I read it and like parsed out how to say it. Because I'm like, this is a word that is both great to say just phonetically, and also great to like say because then you get bibimbap.
Yeah,
and it's great.
It is great when words sound cool that are also cool. Serrated comes to mind.
Serrated is a good word.
I was just thinking gumbo.
Gumbo!
Morty Gumbo!
That's the other thing I've never tried. Gumbo.
I've had gumbo before.
Isn't gumbo just essentially like a stew with extra large chunks in it?
It's a stew, and it's also thicker, like kind of broth.
It's a thicker stew that has rice and like typically sausages.
Mm-hmm. Sausages. I no longer eat seafood, but shrimp go in it too.
I think I've had some gumbo though.
Put scram.
Yeah, shrimp in place of crawfish.
Should we explain that time where we played Cult?
Sure. I'll let you start because I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So there's a tabletop system called Cult Divinity Lost, I think. It's a remake of an older system from a while ago, but I was looking at it. I didn't know all of the rules, but I knew like some basic stuff, and it can be a fast and loose system. And I knew there was a module for it called the Driver that some people may know about, where it's a very quick, easy setup that you do in one session, and it's essentially you're on the road and it's a one-player thing. A person is on the road, driving their car. They have one item, they have one person with them, and they have one enemy. And I played this with Eric because we were bored and we just did it. And so I'm like, I read him off some of the options. He's like, I've got an old rusty bayonet that people said bad things happen if blood gets on it. Like, okay. And I'm like, now there's a person traveling with you. I read him off the options, and he's like, it's my wife. I basically had to rip her out of bed one night, and we have been on the road since. And I'm like, all right, now you have one enemy or rival or something. And he instantly says, it's Morty Gumbo from the HR department. He's very angry because I gave him a swirly.
What the fuck?
And I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
That's such an Eric type answer.
It is. And the other thing that you asked, because you do this really fast and loose, I'm like, all right, you're coming up on a location and your car is running out of gas. And I'm like, what is the location you see? And like the suggestions were like an old decrepit house with an old couple living there, a gas station, or something else. And so he's like, oh, let's go to the gas station. I'm like, all right, so your car dies just a little bit up the road from the gas station. So he walks over to the gas station, and I'm improv, and I'm trying to lay out some intrigue. I'm like, there are some bikers. And then more bikers come while he's inside, and they seem to be doing like some kind of deal with a dude that's got a really big case in a suit. I'm trying to lay down this stuff. Meanwhile, he's trying to haggle for gas. He's like, I'll write a check. And the lady behind the counter's like, yeah, well, yeah. He's like, yes, it will 100% bounce, but I'm going to write this check. And I'm trying to lay the intrigue about bikers or whatever. He goes out to talk to the bikers to try and get some gas from them. And he winds up joining the bikers. He joins the bikers' weird biker cult. And they take their weird case thing, they put it in their car, they drive with it, and things go tits up, crash happens, and he finds out that it is a weird biker cult, and the thing in the case was like a woman with carvings all over her skin. And she's
you
like
didn't tell them that I was the one that cut the brakes on the guy's car.
Right. He wanted to seal what's in the case, so he cut the brakes on the car. That's why it crashed.
What's going on with the wife?
I wondered the same thing.
I left her in the diner.
No, you brought her with you, because I'll get to that. He just kept not telling his wife things, and she's like, "Hun, what's going on? It's late, I'm cold, I'm tired, what's the deal?" And he's just not telling her anything. He's like, "We're following these bikers, those look like really scary bikers, what's the deal? I'm not telling you." The crash happens. These guys they uncover like weird sacrifice woman biker cult, and he starts going along with the cult. He's like, "I'm gonna join this cult." Morty Gumbo appears, and he's like, "What the fuck is your problem? I knew you were a weirdo, but what the fuck?" And Morty Gumbo rescues his wife from this situation, and he and the bikers are trying to murder Morty Gumbo.
What the fuck, Aaron?
And Morty has to call the police, and he's like, "Oh, the cops are coming," and the bikers are like, "We gotta get out of here with the girl." He decides, "I'm gonna rescue the sacrifice girl." He steals a bike. He starts fighting off bikers. He's in like a bike chase where he's kicking people. He finds out if his bayonet is coated in blood, it can kill immortal bikers. And so he starts using it to kill bikers, and he gets into like the climactic fight against Boss Biker, and they're all duking it out until the cops arrive. And he got like shanked twice. He was like bleeding heavily and stuff like that. And the cops come like before the biker can finish him off. He's like, "Just remember, we're always out there," and runs off into the night. And he stands up. He turns around. The woman gone. Bikers gone. All that's left are the cops that are looking at this bloodied man with a bloodied bayonet. They're like, "Fucking freeze, asshole." And all that was left was the epilogue bit where he goes on to court and Morty Gumbo and his own wife are testifying against him because he went on a fucking psychotic rush.
Fucking psychotic break. Only Eric could end a story like that.
I mean, to be fair, there's not a lot of good ways to end that campaign, from what Kyle has said. But yes, it was not a good idea from the. Most of the things I did are things you shouldn't do.
Yeah, it was very interesting though. And I've just mused about adding Morty Gumbo to any other campaign I rush.
Just a genuinely, reasonable guy.
Just a normal dude who is reasonable, and sometimes people mistreat him.
You know what would have been really funny?
What?
If we saw Morty Gumbo in one of the fucking padded cells in the last session.
Honestly.
We find him under the bed and we ask him, "So what the fuck you doing here?" He's like, "I don't know."
I don't know. I was chasing my ex-employee.
Just because he swirled me.
He gave me a swirly. I was just gonna write him up. He's been avoiding it ever since. Someone's gotta talk to him.
All because you fucking swirlied your boss.
Well, okay. Here was my mindset. It's like, this is going to be a one-shot thing, and I'm like, okay, let's be fucking funny and silly.
Let's make it as crazy as possible. I'm surprised Cthulhu didn't appear.
Nah, you can't end it like that. You gotta have it be crazy, but be biker cults. But it was a good time. It was enjoyable. And that's a thing that I find amusing. I don't actually have the cult rulebook, so I don't actually know all the specific rules about it. But I find it interesting to look at other systems and see what they got to offer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I had an idea for something.
You know what we can finally talk about?
What can we finally talk about?
The movies we watched recently.
That's also a good idea.
It's a grand idea. We watched movies recently.
We did.
We should start with the first one. We watched. Have we talked about the John Wick movies?
No, we haven't.
Should we start with John Wick or should we start with Cursed?
I mean, let's probably start with John Wick since we did first.
We
but
probably have very little to say about it that hasn't already been said, so...
Yeah. We could be brief with it. Name one thing you really liked about it.
I like how, I like how it balances a man that is professional and very good at what he does, but he's not a fucking invincible titan. Like
he gets fucked up.
Yeah, he's a man that gets fucked up, and there's even, the point in the first movie where he's straight, like the cold open, where he straight up is like, I am going to die, and he kind of accepts that, but then he has, inspiration. He's like, I'm not going to give up yet. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it also makes sense in the kind of universe because, nobody is really that strong in this real life scope, but he is also the best.
He's that guy.
Mm-hmm. He's the Baba Yaga, which is, by the way, a bitchin' name.
Yeah.
Well, I understand the reason behind the name, but when the Russian guy's explaining it, he's like, he's not Baba Yaga. He's the guy you send to kill Baba Yaga.
Well, yeah, because Baba Yaga is more than just a boogeyman.
True.
Baba Yaga is, ancient myth. Mm-hmm. But, the other thing I really liked about it is it's well-timed humor with just how in-depth the criminal underworld is. Because I talked about this when we had watched it, but... Because everyone knows in John Wick, there's this massive criminal underworld thing going on.
Yeah.
But in the first movie, that wasn't apparent. You didn't know how deep it goes. So I really enjoyed every time when something happened, and then someone would just reveal, oh yeah, we're in on it too. Like fucking a shootout in his house, a cop knocks on his door, and then
hey John.
The cop sees the fucking body, he's like, oh, you working again? He's like, I don't know. And they just kind of deal with it because the cops are in on the criminal underworld.
Yeah.
And then, he calls a cleaner, and the cleaner cleans everything up. And then he goes to, this random hotel, and the whole hotel is part of the underworld. And it keeps getting deeper. It's really fucking amusing. I really love it.
I love how casual it is. He's just going up to the guy at the desk. He's like, oh, so you'll be staying here for a couple nights? Yeah. You want this, and this done? You want some breakfast, aka code? You want some fucking guns or something?
Yeah.
And then he's just talking about you know what? Yes, I love the breakfast, lunch, and dinner special.
It's very amusing. It's this heavily romanticized idea of criminal underworld assassination stuff. Because, the thing is, the real world is much more dry. You pay someone and they kill someone, whatever. But it's just, this almost spy fiction.
Yeah.
Where it's, everyone wears nice suits and they got hotels and you can go and buy a bulletproof vest for your fucking dinner engagement. Because this is just how the high society of the criminal underworld works. It's dumb when you think too hard about it, but I really do love that stuff. It's very fun.
Mm-hmm. What I most enjoy from those movies is, I talked about it around the same time that we watched it too, but you see so many other movies and shows out there where a lot of the choreography and everything, you see this a lot with Star Wars and Marvel movies and everything, where a lot of it is very reliant on CGI, and a lot of it is okay, somebody's holding up a shield made of energy, and somebody's poking at it or kicking it or trying to hit it, and that's really all it is.
People striking at their swords rather than trying to hit the dude.
Yeah.
Fucking bad choreography. Too many jump cuts.
Mm-hmm. And you see John Wick, where they have these very long running scenes where they have almost no cutaways at all,
just
and it's actually
action.
people doing something. It's not something being projected at you, put on the screen by a computer. This is people actually doing the thing, and it looks so much better because it's it takes the separation away from like movie magic and reality. It makes it so there's less of a divide. Of course, it looks great because the cameras make it look great, but it's people doing it. You know?
I think I talked about this when we were watching it. Like in John Wick 4, John Wick himself says, at least from what I recall when I watched the video, 28 to 30 words. And most of it...
He doesn't talk a lot in the movie.
Most of it was just him saying, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, you know what? At this point, I'm okay with, because we know the character.
What else does he have left to say?
Man speaks with gunshots.
Yeah, we know the character, and we know why we're watching him, too.
Especially since the fourth one, they were, like, really trying to hit heavy with the action.
Mm-hmm. Well, after, like, 3 whole movies, you gotta really try to amp it up if you're gonna make it carry on action. Especially, because I think I said this when we were talking about it when we were watching it. The new one, the fourth one, is specially made for the Chinese movie theaters. Because they fucking love the action in those movies. They're obsessed with stuff like that.
The Raid.
Yeah.
I fucking love The Raid.
Still gotta watch the second one.
Mm-hmm, we do.
If we can, we should search up the Ombak series. Which was like another, like, Taiwanese movie series.
Oh, yeah.
It was so good. Another, like, really good choreography, martial arts, and they, like, actually, like, explore different kinds. It's also set in, like, different time periods, so, like, you have it in the past, there's just one in the modern time. Oh, it was just so good.
Just add it to the list.
Yeah. It's on there. Ombak is on there.
Okay, that's good.
But we also watched some other movies.
Cursed.
Yeah, I suppose we'll go chronologically. We watched The Cursed. It's a fairly recent horror movie. Past few years, I think.
Yeah, 2022, I believe.
Yeah.
It was good.
It was alright.
I liked how it reinvented... Spoiler alerts, by the way. Haha.
Yeah. Warning.
I like how it somewhat reinvents the werewolf.
Yeah.
Because I like how it takes its own funny magics.
I do like the way they did magic in that movie.
Mm-hmm, like curses, stuff on the land, like it was fairly clear how it starts and how it ends. And I like how it's like, this is basically a werewolf. Anyone who looks at this can tell it's a werewolf, but also it's got its own little twist on it, like the person being in the beast's guts, and it's like, that's not the same person, and they got like the whole vine motif going on.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's a cool way to do magic. It's not like some mystical ritual type stuff. Like, you find out why they're like this, why, like, they have this kind of power from the fucking coins that were given to Judas themselves. Mm. And those coins are cursed, so hence it transfers the curse to whoever gets fucking affected by the silver.
Mm-hmm. I think it's very neat.
I really did like that. One thing I didn't really like was when the first kid gets transformed, it took a couple days. Took like, what, 3, 4?
It took one night.
One night?
Yeah.
Because it was the following night when he got, like, the vines around him and then flew out the window. Then they never saw him again.
Yeah. And for specifications as well, the whole reason that this cursed thing is happening is because, rich colonials are trying to kick...
It's what they were in the movie, and it makes more sense if we explain it as such.
Yeah.
They were gypsies.
You can say gypsies.
Yes, they were gypsies that were being kicked off of the land that was rightfully theirs. They refused to leave, and so the colonials come and they shoot them, and they're taking pictures and everything after too.
Yeah.
They're celebrating. And like to punish certain ones, they bury one lady alive, and then they basically crucify somebody. They cut his hands and his arms and legs off, and they make him like a scarecrow.
Yeah, and the scarecrow was a common thing that you'd see in the movie. It kind of marked the grave.
Yeah. So they left teeth around that all the kids in the area, they would be drawn towards these teeth.
They put a curse on the spot they were living in.
Yeah. And then they would dig up the teeth, they would put the teeth in their mouth, and then they would be obliged to Just kill people.
Yeah.
That if it was a basic system of if someone attacks someone else with the teeth, they get cursed, become werewolf. If the werewolf attacks someone else, then they get the curse, or they die if they get murdered. It just propagates like that.
Yeah, if they somehow survived the werewolf attack, it's not like they did it intentionally. If they just survived, they also got turned into a werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the initial werewolf was out to kill, but there's just a few lucky ones that managed to escape.
And you know what I kind of am not... one thing I would offer as criticism?
What?
Too much focus on the Scarecrow. I really like the Scarecrow.
I was going to mention that.
I like the Scarecrow as initial imagery, because that's a very brutal execution method and a way of sending a message, which is what they directly said they were trying to do. But the thing is, everyone has nightmares about the Scarecrow marking where the teeth are. And there's even, like, one person has a memory, or not a memory, a dream about the Scarecrow, like, taking his family away because his family was dead.
Yeah.
And another person...
They used that scene in the trailer.
Yeah. And another person has a dream where they, like, turn around and the Scarecrow, like, fucking grabs them. And it's like, oh, spooky. The Scarecrow is never relevant. All it is just a glorified marker of
it's a waypoint.
Yeah. And it's like... I feel like the focus put on the Scarecrow, because it's on the promotional material and everything, despite how irrelevant it is.
The only point it serves in the movie is purely that it is a brutal thing that happened.
It is a brutal and kind of spooky thing.
It's a marking point.
And I feel like they should have had more focus on it or less focus on it.
I like how they did it in the dreams, because obviously if he was still magically alive or something, he can't do shit. He has no arms, no legs, or no feet at least.
Yeah.
He has no style.
He has no grace.
But I wish... Because, when magic's involved, anything is really possible.
Anything gets fucking possible.
I do wish maybe they brought back the people who initially did it to the guy, like cut off his arms and feet, and he got to attack them, and then obviously they didn't finally take him out.
What I kind of expected it would be a case of the Scarecrow gets down from his post and wanders around and kills stuff. Like, one thing that would have been neat is if he took the silver teeth and put them in his own, like, rotting face, and he then proceeded to spread the curse, and to, like, end the curse, they basically had to re-string him up. Like, return him to actually being a Scarecrow.
You know what's one thing that was kind of... I'm kind of glad they didn't do it, but I kind of wish they did. Because, like, when you're first watching the beginning of it, it's in the World War I setting.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, like, well, what the fuck's going on? How does this pertain to the story? But then obviously you find out later in the movie why it does. I was kind of hoping you would get to see the werewolves in action in that wherever they were.
In World War I?
Yeah, like in that battlefield. So I wondered how it would have went down. This random beast.
It would have been neat, but
it would have been successful.
Oh yeah, it would have been fucking hella successful, but it would have been like a cool story. Like, you get to see both sides, like the enemies and the good guys or whatever.
Axis and allies.
And in no man's land is where the beast lives. So it would have been really interesting to see how they would have...
that is very neat. I feel that would deserve its own fucking movie.
Yeah, that'd be like a sequel or something.
That's
that
like
is
Revision stuff.
That is a very cool concept of... You take a World War I or World War II setting, and then there's just a monster on the battlefield. That's something that I feel like they don't do a whole lot of.
It's something they do in video games. They don't do it in movies. Like, I remember so long ago, there was this really cool small game or game demo they had where you were in the trenches in World War I, and there were velociraptors. It's such a stupid concept. There's someone at the door.
Pause it.
Okay. Hello, welcome back. We have HardTack now. For context, I sent a funny meme about HardTack, and Eric sent it to his brother, and he made HardTack, and now we're eating HardTack.
And it's fresh. Nice and soft, crunchy.
Crunchy on top, gooey in the middle.
Just public record. A good man A good man who makes HardTack.
A wonderful boy. I love my brother. Would you like some more?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I grabbed a small piece. And I'll grab this.
We have a whole plate of HardTack.
That's got some heft to it. Feel it.
You could kill a man with that.
Like, I was there for the whole process, too. I was, like, watching him, like, knead the dough and everything, and then he put it in the oven, and it's like, oh, how long does it go for? And it's like, oh, an hour. And then I flip it.
Is that why the top is so fucking hard?
Yes. This is supposed to last 103 years. Maybe not that long.
No. There's only one thing that lasts that long.
Pussy.
Of course. But anyway, we were talking about a movie.
Him saying that brought something up in my mind I was going to talk about, but I can't remember what it was now.
Pussy?
Oh, that's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Oh. Damn.
But,
Pussy forgotten. Pussy lost.
did we have anything else to say about The Cursed?
I don't know.
I
I liked the practical effects.
Yeah.
I thought it was a decent movie.
Yeah,
Would I say that it was
decent
best
movie.
horror movie I've ever seen? No.
No.
It was alright. My HardTack! I dropped my HardTack!
It does what it do pretty well.
Yeah.
But the one thing I didn't like, because, like, obviously in the beginning it shows the random World War I event. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this man's bleeding, oh, what's his significance? Then you find out at the end of the movie, when it goes back to the very first scene, you find out why it's so significant.
Or like halfway through if you're me. I feel like it was a very obvious twist.
I guess, yeah, but, you know, I wasn't really paying attention, man.
Yeah.
I was just
There was
watching
also a
it for the
twist that
sake
really
of watching
didn't-
it.
It was a twist that didn't really mean a whole lot, too. It just explains
like-
the beginning.
Because, like, him removing the bullet, the silver bullet, does that mean he's going to go back to being werewolf? Or,
Well, no,
like,
he died right after.
Yeah, he also got shot 3 other times.
I thought he lived.
No, he...
Nor-
The kind of implication is that he was remembering his life because he died.
Oh.
Because when they pulled
You're
out
telling
the
me that whole fucking movie is just, oh, your life flashes before your fucking eyes?
Yeah, more or less.
That's why, like, you see the older sister in the house just mourning the loss of her brother?
Well, no, she was mourning her father. Because at the end of it, the dude who actually, like, you know, came to help them, he adopted both of them.
Yeah.
And at the end, she returns to the old house because he was still living there. And he's old and he passes away.
Oh.
And then it pans to the side and you see, like, the family picture of them. And he's still got the, like, 4 extra silver bullets.
That was cool, though. I like how big man set up to the plate and took care of him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good man. I also like how, because all of the bullets were there, it implies that they didn't have any future issues.
Yeah.
Well, maybe, you know, colonials made peace with the gypsies.
Maybe.
We all know historically that didn't happen.
Yeah. More likely, the gypsies are all dead. There's no one to make peace with.
Or, you know, they didn't have any of the Judas coins.
Maybe.
Regardless, after that we watched another movie with gypsies. We watched Snatch.
That we did.
The fuck was Snatch about again? Why can't I remember Snatch?
It was about stealing a diamond.
You didn't like it because it was like The Big Lebowski.
Oh, right!
Hey, you like eggs?
It had Brad Pitt, Irishman.
Irish Brad Pitt.
And Jason Statham randomly. Honestly, I like his character the most. Because he's just a man trying to survive these series of unfortunate situations.
And then he comes out on top for it.
Yeah.
I love that movie because it's like The Big Lebowski. I love The Big Lebowski.
It's like the English Big Lebowski.
It is just one massive circle where so much shit happens and people straight up die, and it just circles back to where it started.
Yeah, and like, all these random series of events somehow manage to merge into one, and once it concludes, everything bad that could happen, happened, but everything good that could happen, happened as well.
Everything went wrong until it just went right.
Yeah.
And then it came full circle and found its way at the start again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, one of the first scenes
Except Donnie died.
Who would you say was the Donnie of that movie?
A lot of people died, and Snatch compared to Big Lebowski.
But like
hard to
Donnie
narrow
was such
down.
a character that didn't fit in that movie. It just died for no fucking reason.
He said, "I am the walrus," and then got told to shut the fuck up. I love that movie so much that I put a reference in it in my campaign.
You sure did.
Oh.
Fucking. Overall, Snatch, good movie. It's a movie I enjoyed. I don't really have much to complain about it.
It's really cool watching it unfold and seeing the little details. Like, I didn't process when the group of robbers backed up into the van that it knocked him out.
They knocked the dude out.
I thought he was just gonna get up afterwards. So when I finally see him, it's nighttime. He's finally getting up. He's like, "What the fuck happened?" Just a fucking. What happened? When the robbers finally left the fucking robbing the place, they fucking opened up, walked out, and he fucking nabbed him, I think.
Yeah, because he got out of the van when they pulled forward, and then the fucking driver just grabbed him. Like, who the fuck's this guy? He's the guy you're looking for.
He's a guy with 4 fingers carrying a briefcase.
I love it. I love fucking Boris because it's like, oh, you mean Boris the Blade, the bullet dodger, the one we can't kill, and then he gets fucked over, but they can't fucking kill him. It takes like 5 guys to take him down the first time. He gets hit by a car, walks home, grabs a gun, hunts down the guys again, fucking shoots at them, and takes a full clip of Desert Eagle to put down once and for all.
Like, once Boris, the bullet dodger, is threatening the other guy, like, fucking, give me what I fucking want. The guy just starts shooting through the wall, randomly hits the bullet dodger, fucking knocks him down to the ground. He finally goes through the door. You just see all these people on the floor, fucking big man's dying over here. Got randomly shot, and you just hear in the background the fucking bullet dodger going, "Oh, you can't kill me!" Just boom, 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 boom.
He's just sitting there like, "You motherfuckers, I'm going to fuck you up. I'll kill you." And then they shoot him, and he keeps going,
going like 2 more times until the fucking gun is empty.
Here's the thing that we haven't done in a while. Out of that movie, all the character-wise, who do we think that each of us would be?
I feel like Eric has to be the Irishman.
He'd be fucking Brad Pitt.
The
He'd
Pike.
be Mikey.
The Pike.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I think that one's a derogative one.
I've never heard that word outside of that movie. I'm going to censor it anyways, but...
But, yeah, I can see you being him.
Okay.
I don't wish ill of you, Kyle.
Oh, no.
But I feel like you would have been the big man. Like,
which big man?
The big black man.
The driver.
Because, like, you're
What a
only...
coincidence, Tyler. I thought you would have been it.
No, because, like, he's... Out of everyone in that group, he's the one that only, like, sees logic. While the other ones are just trying to get their fucking ass off the line. He's just like, man, what the fuck you doing?
Everyone's running in circles, pulling shit, and he's just being practical about it.
Exactly.
Like, we're looking for a man with four fingers or whatever, and he just sees a dude. He's like, okay, I'll go grab him.
I see the man with the 4 fingers.
You know, Kyle, I can see you as being Tommy. Because...
The British dude?
Yes. The one who said that he was named after a gun. But I mean that in an actual good way, because I really did like Tommy's character. Because, like, he was a man that was in a very bad situation and he was getting fucked around a lot. But then, like, I think about that scene in the casino where they're about to kill Turkish, but he has a gun that doesn't work and he's like, I can do something with this. And then he points it at them, and then they're like, you wouldn't pull the trigger. And he's like, oh, you don't think I have the stones?
He was a good man.
I like that, man.
Who would you be, Tyler?
I don't know. There's a lot. There's a
I
lot
can
of
see
defining
you-
characters in that movie.
I can see you as the cousin. The guy that was gonna buy the stone from the beginning, because I think about that scene where he comes out of the bathroom and there's like two people trying to rob him at once, and he's like, "Fuck you!" And
which guy?
The mustache man, the man who wanted to buy or to get the diamond in the first place, who like flew over to London.
Oh, the American.
Do you have anything to clear? Yeah, don't go to London.
Yeah.
It's like the dog ate the diamond. He's like, well, open him up. What do you mean open him? I mean open him up and find the diamond. You can't just open him like a fucking envelope.
He tries to fucking take the gun and start shooting.
I really liked Bullet Tooth as well. That guy was an awesome character.
Yeah, I loved him as well.
I love the bit where he's like, he's like, your gun's got replica written down the side, and then it zooms in on each letter of replica. He puts it on the table. Mine says Desert Eagle 50 caliber, and then it just zooms in on all of the letters of it.
Listen, when they said Desert Eagle .50, that made me angry.
Because it's not a 50 caliber bullet.
Mm-hmm.
Not even that. It's called Desert the 50 Magnum or Desert Eagle. Or the
.50.
Yeah, just the way they kept on saying 50, not just saying 50, it annoyed me.
I'm very glad that you guys said that I would not be Frankie Four Fingers. Because the part where they say, "Oh, there's going to be gambling involved," and then they zoom into his eyes, and they play "Viva Las Vegas."
They just kept gambling away. Listen, I thought about it.
You're Frankie on a bad day.
Yeah.
You're Frankie on a bad day, Mikey on a good.
Awesome. I'm unstable both ways.
Hey, at least on a good day, you want to take care of your mom.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, Tyler, I can also see you being, not Vinny, but the other one. The other black guy.
Soul?
Yeah, the one who makes the plans. He's like, alright, listen up, we're going to do it this way, and we're going to do this nice and clean, everything's going to work out. And it doesn't work out, and he's trying his best. Like, he's got it all thought out, but some chaotic element fucks him over.
I like Bricktop as a villain, too. Bricktop was a good villain.
Was that like the main...
He was the guy that fed people to pigs.
Yeah, he had the glasses.
I liked him as well. He was interesting.
Mm-hmm. You take sugar? Nah. I'm too sweet.
I did love, like, his ego.
He was very charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
His ego was really cool.
That movie has a banging soundtrack. Expect it in the next campaign.
I honestly look forward to it. But Snatch, good movie.
It was a good
lot
movie.
of fun.
Yeah.
It had, like, such an interesting cast of people as well.
Yeah, it was a pretty stacked cast. You had a lot of people going around.
Like, I wasn't expecting to see fucking Morgan from The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Or, I know you guys told me of Irish Brad Pitt, but I was still shocked to see him in the movie.
When you see him just start fucking talking, and we had the subtitles on, and it's really funny how
it
when he
still
says
just
stuff,
says
it just says unintelligible.
But after that, we watched. Actually, how much time do we have left?
Oh, we've still got like 20 minutes.
Okay, that's enough time to talk about Psycho Gorman.
We talk only good things about Psycho Gorman, because if we talk about the bad, we will be here all day.
Okay, let's get the bad out of the way.
Really, not that bad.
Yeah, let's get
Fuck
the bad.
me.
Let's get the bad out of the way first. Wasn't a big fan of the main character.
Yeah,
No.
I'm not a huge fan of the like bratty child that does not ever get comeuppance and just kind of walks all over people.
Yeah.
It didn't really vibe with me, but the rest of the movie was very amusing. I
Every
really liked
other character was good.
The other characters was fun, and I like how it's like an homage to old like monster movies where they had like the rubber suits and stuff.
Yes, I absolutely love that.
And like
It
I
was
like how
perfect for practical effects.
Yeah,
It was
I like
wonderful.
how the angel person had like, you know, weird eye things and like the mouth that's supposed to move.
Yeah.
And it looks terrible because it's supposed to, because it's like how old monster movies were.
Yeah.
And it's very amusing.
Like, the whole thing, it felt like a very good episode of Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I would equate it to.
Also, just they try to focus on the story of the movie. Like, why this big, scary man is the way he is.
But they just undermine it because they don't care.
Exactly.
And it's really funny.
But his story was kind of sad.
It was. Because that's the thing. It was a very, like... It was... You could write a very serious story about how, you know, he's misunderstood and how he's become a monster, but through his own good intentions and been corrupted and all this stuff. But the main characters are children, they don't give a shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why every time he starts describing, like, his terrible past, like, I was a slave alongside my kin. We were enslaved by this horrid race. I found the power to liberate my people and lift them up. We destroyed swathes of soldiers and conquered galaxies, but my wrath would not be sated. And then the kids are like, that's real cool, but we've got Crazy Ball tomorrow.
Yeah, we gotta play Crazy Ball.
That's another thing. Fuck Crazy Ball.
Crazy Ball is dumb, but it's
meant to be dumb.
And it's really fun.
It's
I really
meant to be
do
a game
like
that's made up by kids, so...
I do like how, like, the villain's honor rules dictate that, like, one final competition to determine who, like, lives and dies, and then it's just like, well, the human will pick the thing, and she just picks a dumb game they made up themselves that no one understands but them.
And they don't explain the rules after they ask.
No, they do.
They explained it,
They
but
explained
then...
the rules, but she doesn't understand them.
Yeah.
Because it's like... Because, like, the kids know how to play Crazy Ball. There's a bit halfway through the movie where
They're
they try
teaching
to...
it to the man.
Yeah, they try to teach it to Psycho Gorman, and he's like, hold on, can someone re-explain the rules? But then in the final battle, she explains the rules to everyone, and the villain just says, hey, can you re-explain those real quick? I don't understand. And she's like, no. And it's full of arbitrary, dumb rules. It's very amusing. The practical effects are wonderful. There's other stuff I love too, like the designs. I really like how it went just into a mix of, like, old horror and also schlocky, like, Sentai films. Because it's like Psycho Gorman's prime generals appear. And, like, there's one guy who's like a weird ghoul guy. There's a person who's like a shrunken head witch doctor person.
And a robot.
There's just a robot, and he's just a bucket of guts.
Yeah.
That's all he is. And he is a prime general, and he is killed by punching a hole in his glass and his blood leaks out. It's so dumb, but I do really love it for that.
I do have to give it props, because when I did search it up, it is a movie made in 2020.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's also made in Canada.
Yeah.
And Canada doesn't have a really good track record of making movies.
Mm-hmm. And there's a scene in it that my mom's friend, the one that she's married to the guy that made that made the costume for Shape of Water, the monster in that. Mm-hmm. Lester D's, that restaurant, that's his restaurant. The one that they were at during the movie.
Very impressive pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fun stuff. I wish they had a different main character, but I can't say I'm disappointed with the rest. And
yeah.
I really like while it also contributes to how much I don't like the main character, I did kind of like how they turned the one, like, friend into just a brain and tentacles with eyes, and then they just leave him like that. And there's one scene when they're trying to explain Crazy Ball to him. He's like, I'm just gonna go home, and it's a 2-minute long shot of him just waddling across the field trying to go home.
And then the end. For the ending of the movie, when they're playing the credits, it's just the brain...
Trying to eat.
Yeah, trying to eat with his family at the dinner table.
The family just accepted it. But man, listen, we all know who I am. I really do wish the big brother just got to fucking mollywop the fucking Mimi.
the girl child.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of expected it would end with, like,
Him running over and socking her, because that's another rule in Crazy Ball. If
two balls collide.
Crazy Ball lore. If two balls hit during the last phase, then the one team member is able to run over and punch the other one, and if you win, if you punch the other one first, I believe all of your points goes to them.
You get all of the opponent's points.
Yeah, all the opponent's points +3.
Plus
or
3.
+1, I think. It was plus something. It was just stupid.
Basically, you win. And it came down to that between, the main character and her brother. And the big thing was like, oh, will he redeem himself? He didn't. He got socked in the face.
Yeah.
But then they sorted it out otherwise. I think it would have been really appropriate if he won, but then had a change of heart afterwards, like, I'm not going to help the villain.
Because, he did have a change of heart at some point.
He did.
I mean, I don't even think he needed to have much of a change of heart. He wasn't a bad guy. But,
He just didn't want to be bullied.
Yeah, and, another point that you brought up too, Kyle, was, there's this part where, he confronts this main character who is a bully, and he's like, I just wish that you would, apologize or say sorry. And then instead of
just
saying sorry,
refuses to.
she sings their theme song that they made up together, and then, that's it.
Yeah. It's supposed to be
it's not really an
moment.
apology.
Still never said sorry.
It's supposed to be this touching moment where it's they're kind of on the same wavelength and they really do understand each other. So they sing this song they made up and it's symbolic to them. But the thing is, it's not acknowledging anything. It's just saying well, we know each other. And of course, at the end, there's a bit while Psycho Gorman's fighting off the villain, she does the Morse code knocking to indicate I am sorry.
Yeah.
And I get she
still haven't said it though.
Yeah, I get it's she doesn't want to say out loud that she's sorry, but she is trying to admit it. I feel there should have been more an indication of really acknowledging everything thus far,
Mm-hmm.
Because she was a raging bitch.
You're so right, Tyler.
I did the one scene where fucking Psycho Gormus is just slowly dismantling Aphrodite was her name?
Maybe? I forget her name.
She had some weird name
the villain.
Yeah.
And just makes a sword out of her.
But that's the thing, though. He makes this. He rips chunks out of her to make the sword, and then he's having an evenly matched sword battle with her.
Her wacky, cool, futuristic sword up against his flesh-made sword.
But that's the other thing too. He's ripped chunks and bones out of her, and then he's struggling with fighting her with a sword.
Yeah.
He should have just killed her with his hands.
I also do
I don't know.
love...
It's a dumb moment that, it's yeah, whatever.
I also do love how he mentions early on, the greatest honor is to be devoured by another warrior. And then, he fights off his generals, and he looks at him like, you fought me as a warrior, so I will give you a warrior's death, and he eats him, and he's screaming the whole time.
It's just something that it's honorable. I would be honored if it happened to me.
Yeah, it's every time he does it to someone, it's horrifying, and everyone's screaming and begging, but he's it's very honorable.
Because it's his whole fucking body is just turning into a mouth as he slowly devours you.
Yeah, it was great.
Those were good scenes. It reminded me of The Thing.
Mm. Yeah, a good series of movies.
Mm-hmm.
And there will probably be more to come. There's always more to watch.
There's always more to come.
Yep. But we'll have to tell you about those next time on the MD Cast, because we're going to sign out now.
I'm Tyler.
I'm Eric.
What the fuck? That leaves me as Kyle. I don't want to be Kyle.
You are you fool!
God damn it, I'm always the worst one.